The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
The Napa State Hospital from high above, a peaceful, pretty 130-acre campus while on the ground.
You can just feel the tension sometimes on the units when you walk on.
Current and former state employees say a sense of fear is alive.
Oh, yes. They found just a few months ago 6 or 7 knives in the trees.
And all of a sudden we've got really thugs running the place here, and it's hospital-wide.
One patient we spoke with by phone agrees.
The type of people that have been sent to Napa are more and more violent, more and more dangerous.
October 2010, hospital employee Donna Gross is found dead on the grounds. Her alleged killer is patient Jess Massey, a man who, according to records, has a criminal history of armed robbery, sexual assault, and murder. Patients we spoke to say they believe they know the motive.
Massey thing, it's almost a unanimous consensus that he killed her over tobacco.
Tobacco banned from the campus. Staff and patients say a single cigarette can sell for about $7, $150 for a pack.
There are people all over the place here. They're unbalanced as it is. Then you take their tobacco away, and they go nuts.
Hospital employee Sharon Sanguinetti.
There always has been a tobacco trade here for the last 20-something years that I've been here. It's just now gotten to be more expensive because it's harder to get in.
Napa State Hospital became a tobacco-free campus on July 7, 2008. Since then, patient on staff assaults have nearly quadrupled. September 08 to February 09, 75 recorded assaults. A year later, 287. The Department of Mental Health says the rise in assaults is not tied to tobacco. It says that in 2009, it changed the way data was collected and reported in the state hospitals, including the way aggression was defined. These changes led to an increase in the number of reports. Even so, security measures have increased on the Napa campus.
We've issued personal alarms to every employee. We have implemented a shuttle service.
And even with the new security measures,
the patients we have now are much more calculative too. You know, they target.
Some hospital employees still fear their predatory patients who they say loom on campus. Mike Meebeck, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
The X-Zone Radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
State mental officials last week announced plans for a special unit for violent patients staffed with a police officer at that Napa State Hospital, and it couldn't come at a better time. This is a report from KTVU.com. Last year, an average of 3 employees and 7 patients were attacked at the hospital daily, and most of the attacks were initiated by criminals, according to the State Department of Mental Health. Several employees and patients at Napa State Mental Hospital told KTUV they feared for their safety. Let's see. Luz Hernandez, a nurse at the Napa State Hospital, said, "Going to work is like you're psychologically raped on a daily basis." Sean and Janet Webb's son is a patient at Napa State Mental Hospital. Garth Webb, 30, was sent there last May after making terrorist threats against someone. Garth has since been diagnosed as schizophrenic, but his parents fear he is not getting the treatment he needs. In fact, Garth was sexually assaulted by Jess Massey, the man who allegedly killed a psychiatric technician, Donna Gross Police said. And this is a quote. "The institution fails to maintain his safety and how he is being prepared for life in the general population," Sean Webb said. Garth Webb said that he's had to learn the hard way not to let his guard down and not to be too trusting of those around him. When I come back from this 2-minute commercial break, Wayne Morin Jr. is going to be joining me from Napa, California. Wayne is the young man several years ago who broke this story worldwide. And finally, it seems that people are starting to listen. 1-800-610-7035 worldwide is our toll-free number. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Wayne Morin is my guest. He's up next, www.waynemorinjr.com. Don't go away. Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
We all desire health, happiness, and fulfillment, but often get in our own way. Repeated patterns that leave us out of control can keep us feeling powerless, frustrated, and unable to move forward in spite of our best efforts. Unconscious patterning disconnects us from our gifts, often destroying the very thing we seek. But there is an answer. We can take charge of our destiny and heal the trauma of our history. Shamanism is an effective ancient modality that can reconnect us with our true selves, empower the creation of our dreams, and return us to health and balance. Cody Alexander is a certified shamanic practitioner and teacher with 11 years' experience. Email healingpathways33@gmail.com or visit codyalexander.net to schedule a long-distance shamanic session today.
Wayne Morin is my special guest this hour, www.waynemorinjr.com. Hey, Wayne, welcome back to the X Zone. You've been pretty busy out there in Napa, California.
Oh, yes, and thank you for having me back on to the X Zone family and to the X Zone Nation TV and radio. Thank you, everyone that listens, and thank you for all the support people have been out there in these since 2005. We started breaking this story about some criminal injustices that go on at that state hospital, and just until recently, all the work that you and I have done, Rob, I mean, by you being a media outlet and bringing clients on and sound bites on that, finally, I really put my kudos out to KTVU, L.A. Ramos, John Sasaki, Michael McBeck, Leslie Donaldson, and Jimmy Vargas, and all the work they've been doing here at Napa State Hospital, because for the first time in history, on all the years that you and I had used sound bites and things, they are now getting information directly from the clients and the families and putting it on the air. That is such a big thing for the people, the clients, and the families to be able to have a voice on the media.
Tell me, Wayne, what's the reaction from the viewing public? What are they saying? Is the public getting upset with what's going on there?
Well, and not only does it seem like they're getting upset, it seems like they're being more of a creative type upset, meaning that they are really, when they go into something, they have all the answers and everything looked out and planned out before they even get to the table. So it's a lot more rehearsal going into what they're saying and doing now.
We heard in that clip that we played from KTVU, that cigarettes are being sold for $7 each. $150 a package?
$150 a pack. That's true, and that is for clients to get put in a position that the people that sell those things, it has to be coming from the outside. We know that cigarettes can't be mailed in, or they can't be, so they're bringing the cigarettes in to the clients from the outside, and that's either through some psychiatric technician or some worker there, some kitchen help, or some janitor or somebody. It's getting in there somehow.
What are the members of law enforcement doing about the smuggling in of cigarettes? But I also understand other stuff is being smuggled in as well.
Well, on our last show that you and I did, we showed that there was $50,000 just from Lonnie Smith mentioned and Mike Smith, the special investigators at Napa State Hospital, mentioned $50,000 in just recent times that in 1 year of contraband and drugs. Now, you and I have been talking about those things for I don't know how long.
Oh gosh, yeah, years. You've been getting quite a bit of coverage locally. Is any of the coverage that you're getting locally been fed to the nationals?
Not yet. I don't think yet, but recently, I mean, KTVU and Fox and these San Francisco station does have tentacles that go out pretty far. So, I mean, I don't know anything about nationally yet. No.
Now, you were talking to me before we went on air about some information that you'd like to get out to the public.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'd like to I'd like to really have a special shout out to the thanks for the following clients and family of making the recent news possible for the client's viewpoint. And these are all people that were used in the articles that you'd said and brought those articles to the news people to get this started. So I just want to make that known. The clients' names are Sheen Webb, which is Janet Webb, and son Garth Webb, who was basically, we remember you bringing that up, what James Massey did. And then there's Michael Tulloch, Stan Turnbloom, and George Rojas, Mark Simon, and Tim Breckenridge. All of those clients and family members have been it is the first time that they've really gotten to speak out like that, and it's such a good thing that they finally get to do that.
Wayne, what progress has been made at Napa State Hospital since October?
Well, one of the things I'd like to, I'm glad you brought that up, the names of these people: Jennifer Turner, Brad Leggs, Dr. Richard Freshman, Dr. Patricia Tyler, Bruce Rugby, Shannon Serganita, George Anderson, Chris Cullen, Daniel Ramirez, Mike Dresowski, Donna, Deshana McIntosh, Jeff Dyer, Luz Hernandez, Mary Hall, Crystal Johnson, Twyla Cabral, Kimberly Barton, Rosa De Sanchez de Sota, and Kim Cowart all have basically taken their place in what they should have been doing years ago with people like you and I when we were doing the stories and having to hunt around for this or that to find somebody to come on the show. They finally started to speak up to the media and get on there and start blowing the horn on what's going on, and that's my hat's off to them for that. Even though a lot of things are still being hush-hushed, and my special kudos goes out to Maj Yashad, who is a psychologist that worked out there that just quit his job. Now, people, he just quit his job because he was telling the staff they need to be more verbal and come out to the medias, and he just decided, since he wasn't getting anywhere, he quit. He quit working at Napa State Hospital, and that's a sad thing when a guy gives people an opening to be able to be more truthful with what's really going on out there, and he decides, since no one's listening, he's just going to quit.
So I understand now that patients have access to a direct line to KTVU.
Well, it's not a direct line. It's not definitely a direct line. The numbers continuously change, but what it is that I've been feeding when one of the news media people call me. What I do is I look at the topic or what they're looking for, and I get to the clients basically ASAP that have those topics that I've already used in the past, that you and I have used in the past, to basically be able to get that information. We use people that are been there and know what they're talking about.
But what about an investigation that should be conducted by the Department of Justice or the state of California? Is anything happening?
Well, when you say that, it's very important that we kick back for a second and just look at what Stephen Mayberg, which was the head of DMH, who hired Claude Edward Falk, which was the last medical director out there. And we all know the story that the listeners know how Claude Edward Falk finally got captured. And when people that know the story know that a person had contacted me on the phone and asked me if this was Claude Edward Falk, and getting into the story, not going all the way to it. They can check that link out that we have on your website, Wayne Morin Jr., and you can find out a little bit more about that. But what I'm saying here is that DMH in California, I mean, the people that are running this thing really need to get serious about what they're doing, because there's a lot of people that are really mad, and they really are starting to speak out about, even the psychiatric staff members had said that Dr. Stephen Mayberg, they're glad that he's gone. He should have been out of there a long time ago. A lot of the problems is because of him. And as you and I were going through these last years, talking about cocaine, talking about rapes, talking about abuses that are going on, Stephen Mayberg just continuously sent us to where? Around in a circle, around in a circle, around in a circle.
So since he's been gone, have there been any positive changes? Are the patients treated any better, or is it the same old, same old?
Well, let me go ahead and say this. You and I both know that there's a bigger picture going on here, and the viewers should know that by me saying this now. It's not just this. What is happening here at Napa State Hospital. Napa State Hospital is sort of like the media outlet. It's sort of like the thing that they have the light under right now. But in the 4 other state hospitals here in California, Patton State Hospital, Atascadero, and Metro, they're all going through the same kind of recertification, the same kind of changes right now. The CDC and They are building units, and they're making them more secure, things that they should have done, and we had been talking about for years and years and years. I remember one of your favorite expressions is, Wayne, if it's going on there at Napa, do you believe it's going on anywhere else? And I said, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there is changes. But you know, we're trying to move a dinosaur, me and you, Rob, and these things are big and they're old, and they don't like to move because they're already comfortable and everything works. So it's going to, you know, we just have to keep after and keep being vigilant and keep being verbal, and family members and people out there have to keep doing it because they have loved ones in there. They have to visit, they have to call, they have to check in, they have to make it to meetings. I mean, that's what they have to do. And this thing can get taken off. Look how far we've gone so far. So,
you know, but it's very frustrating. You watch CPAC and you certainly see the different congressional hearings that are going on. Why is there a congressional hearing to see what is happening behind the walls and behind the doors of mental hospitals across the country? Is it a dirty little secret that the people don't want the people to know? Those in power don't want the people to know how broken the system is, Wayne?
Well, this is what I think, and I'm going to give my honest opinion and view out there. And this is not meaning to sound rough.
All right, Wayne, what I'm going to do, Wayne, I'm going to ask you to hold on to your reply because we've got to take our commercial break at the bottom of the hour. Exo Nation, Wayne Morin Jr. is our special guest. We're talking about the crimes against humanity at Napa State Hospital. Wayne's website, www.waynemorinjr.com. And Wayne and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the four corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Wayne Morin is our special guest, Exo Nation. We're talking about the crimes against humanity at Napa State Hospital in Napa, California. Wayne has been on the show since 2004-2005. He broke this story on the X Zone, and we have been trying our very best to get members of Congress, the House of Representatives, the President, somebody to do something. Because, like Wayne said, I believe in my heart of hearts that if it's happening at Napa State Hospital, it is happening at other mental health hospitals throughout the United States, across Canada, as well as the rest of the world. Wayne, my question to you is, why do you think the government has not stepped in? Why hasn't there been a congressional hearing? Is this something that is known about, but those in power want to keep it hush-hush? This is a dirty little secret?
Well, like I was about ready to say, and thank you for having me back on, one of the things that I truly believe with the bottom of my heart, not being a person to try to, I believe in mental health. I believe that psychiatric help and psychologists and people empowering people, and I believe that mental illness, it can be cured with medications and with caring people and learning about it. One of the things that I think reasons that I believe that things haven't been done is because there's still a lot of part of the mental health, and especially in the bigger institutions, where the money is a lot less to pump out. But between you and I, it seems like there's so much going into that doesn't even. I mean, they're just ripping the taxpayers off. They would have known. It's a learned type of thing. They have to learn as they go along, and it's just that they're not really wanting to catch up because a lot of the things that they're doing have been set in place, and a lot of the old dinosaurs are basically not really ready to move or even break from what they believed in the past. You see a lot of these things making changes in the last 15, 20, 30, 40 years in mental health, where you and I both know that shock treatment used to be something mandatory when you came in sometimes. And marijuana, if you smoke marijuana in the early 80s, you could be eligible for Social Security, and just for smoking marijuana, that would be a mental illness. So we see how the learned and the learning of the community and the people that are supposed to have knowledge of these things is really slow getting there. And I basically believe that there should definitely be some kind of congressional hearings on it. And this would save the people in the state so much money if they just would take little chunks out and start doing it. And I believe there's a criminal element in there also. I believe there's the pharmas, a lot of the big pharmacy companies that have so much money invested in these new drugs that they're actually trying out on my clients. I mean, I get emails from moms and from family members all the time. I just went to see my son, and his face looks lopsided. His lips are chapped. His eyes are he can't even talk.
Okay.
They tried him on a new medication, and the hospital police say that he wants to go back to the unit. He can't talk with me, and they feel like they want to break down and cry. It's just this. They do these kind of things, and especially with the units now being locked down. Not to change the pit mover out of the subject too much,
sure.
but with the units being locked down now since October, you got to figure with the medications, especially medications like Risperidol, Zyprexa, Coloseril. These are all medications that, when you take, they have serious warnings on them that basically that not only can they contribute quickly to diabetes, but they also have a quick reaction to thyroid, which means a person blows up right away. They have poundage out very, very fast because they hit the thyroid. These when they're on these type of medications, they're supposed to be having some kind of walk therapy, some kind of get out and do therapy. And these since October, they've been just housed on the unit, smelling, getting obese, eating state food, which is nothing but starch. And people, not everybody's on a special diet. So you got people that are diabetics and that are people that are just on medications, just eating nothing but starch and staying on the unit, not being able to get out and do very much except for a few groups a day. And they're getting obese and they're getting really sick. And that's one of the beliefs that I had that happened with William Roebling just recently. My client died after a takedown on one of the units, and Willie Roebling I knew the client while I was there. He was a character. He can be very scary at times, but the medications that he was on in his heart, when they took him down, they knew that, and they should be, and that's just negligence on their behalf on a staff member taking down a person in that type of way when a person's heart is like that with the medications they're on. They knew that. I have a feeling that they knew that, by taking him down that way, that he could be hurt like that, and he died. There's a number of things that we could talk about like that recently. There's this one character, George Rejos, who basically was one of the people that wanted to testify on the Donna Gross murder case that started in October, that brought this whole thing about the way it's going. Had asked me to find out what I could do to help him, because he wanted to testify and go into court and to testify about what he knew about the case, which he knows a lot. And he was there. He was one of the people at the hospital police and the district attorney's office. The hospital police had brought the information to the district attorney. And basically he said when they asked him to testify in court, he said no, he wouldn't do that unless he had protection, right? Unless he knew that the gang members weren't able to get to him, put him on a different unit or something. And I called and I talked to Michael Allen's people and discussed that with them, and they said, well, what we need to do is take it to the district attorney's office. And when I talked to my attorney about this, and after we talked to him, he said, well, the district attorney already knows. Just a week and a half ago, he got stabbed in the neck.
Wow.
So the guy that's being a hero, George Rojas, who's basically wanting to give all the information up and get this guy, Jesse Massey, what he truthfully deserves. Remember, the flags were lowered here in California. Arnold Schwarzenegger, while he was still governor, lowered all the flags. I figured if that could be done, a client could be transported to another unit to be protected while he's testifying in court, and it didn't happen. It just makes me so angry.
Wayne, why is it that there are dangerous criminals in amongst regular patients?
That is something that has to change. That is something that needed to be changed back when they were making these changes back when they started building the fence there in Napa State Hospital. They were building the fences because more and more clients were coming from prisons. And it used to be California's most medium security hospital. We were the only ones that didn't have a fence. And when that started to happen, they just started putting the clients that were, the usual come-ins like every 90 days from the streets of the community, or, decompensating in the community, coming back with the clients that basically were more and more violent and coming here so they can malinger, so they could get out of doing it. Now they're doing it just to get out of 3 strikes. And what I believe on that kind of case is we need to have a panel before the clients come to the hospital, and when they're here at the hospital, when they're first coming in, they have to have a psychiatrist, you have to have a gang task force member, you have to have a professional polygraph person, a psychologist, and you have to have a patient's rights advocate there for them. And they need to be able to give these people a battery of questions, like the doctor for a scenario, a sample, would say, are you here for are you here because you are wanting to malinger and saying that you're hearing voices? And someone in the gang task force would have a question to ask, well, are you affiliated to any gangs, and are you trying to beat your rep? I mean, they would have a battery of questions that will pertain to the person, why they wanted to be here and what they were doing. And if they needed, they could use the polygraph to find out if those answers were. And that's one of the things that I'm definitely going to bring up to DMH, because with CONREP, a conditional release program, when you're released from the state hospital, by being released, you have to submit to a contract. And that contract says that while you're out in the community, you could be requested to take a polygraph test any time that CONREP requests. Now, what I want to do is just reverse that. When a person comes into the hospital, since they want to get to the hospital, they would have to be taking that polygraph.
But here, let me ask you this question. If the person is going into a mental hospital, how reliable would that polygraph test be on the way in?
Believe me, it's reliable. It's reliable. I wouldn't be saying this is not reliable. They're reliable, and if they wanted to try to beat it, it would even be worse.
I'd like to read a quote here. This is from hospital psychiatric technician Brad Leggs, and he says, "There's a prison mentality that there's a prison mentality there that we're going to have to get under control. We don't have control of it right now. It needs to be done soon." Why has the condition at Napa State Hospital just gone right out of control, Wayne? How come?
Well, you and I have been saying it's been out of control for years and years and years. This is nothing new to our ears and the viewers that listen to us. It's been out of control. I mean, for every type of thing, it's just that now that these things have happened, and these the more spotlight that is on this is being slowly known in, like we say, the dinosaur. They're starting to register that these things do need to be fixed really quick, because it's not only happening here, it's happening in 4 other state hospitals. Believe me, I read the news up on the news. I could send you later on a couple of links that basically that it's not only happening here, it's happening in Patton and in Atascadero, the same thing, and they're making the same implementations that they're making here at Napa. So what I'm saying here is what Brad Lake said is definitely true. But he's looking at it from the union's point of view. He's looking at it from, he's one of the leaders for the psychiatric tech unions, if I understand that I'm right. And he was one of the main people that spoke for the unions out there, for the psych techs, if I'm right. But
the statistics alone are staggering. For example, 80% of the patients sent to Napa after committing a crime, 16% of those were accused killers.
Yeah, that's true. And that is just part of the, what do you call it, the monster, Rob. We have these people coming into these the state facilities, and when you're going to look at statistics, you have to take them for what they are. Not the majority of the clients there, but there's that many people are there for murder.
But doesn't that say that the system really doesn't care for the safety and security of those that are entrusted with them, if they are putting, so many criminals in with people who are in there for other reasons besides the criminal aspect, and 16% of those people that they're putting in there are murderers or have been accused of murder?
Yeah, you could see this as just pure negligence.
Yeah.
That is, it's negligence, And those are the kind of things that we need to, the family members and the people in the community need to make sure that they contact Michael Allen's office, Assemblyman Michael Allen, and Senator Noreen Evans. And if you're down south, whoever your senator is and whoever your assemblyman is down there, you need to keep up the pressure on the people and letting them know the negligence part of this by mixing these supermax violent clients with old people or people that are weaker, and it's just a time bomb waiting to happen, and you and I have seen it over and over again.
Wayne, when we first started this, I truly believed that within a very short period of time, people would get off their butts and do something positive about this, that the nation, the world, would not let this continue, and it has. You and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Wayne Morin Jr. is our guest. www.waynemorinjr.com. That's www.waynemorinjr.com. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back after this break.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world.
Welcome back, everyone. Wayne Morin Jr. is our special guest, and Wayne is talking to us from Napa, California. His website is www.waynemorinjr.com. That's WayneMorinJR.com. Wayne, what can people do who are listening to get involved?
Well, thank you very much for asking me that. It's pretty simple stuff. One of the things is most counties and most communities now all have mental health centers and places where people with disabilities and clients with disabilities and family with people that have families with members with disabilities are involved in. And what you can do is there's lots of good information down at the local mental health places, community centers. They always have a list of meetings where family members can get together with other family members and talk about what they intend to try to do with things that are going on in their local state hospital or their local community mental health or clinics or places where that basically people during the day can go and with disability and be with other people. One of the things I strongly suggest if these family members are when they're listening today, if they have any similarities to what they hear, and the majority of the people probably are having some similarities with what we talked about today, is that they contact their local assemblyman or they contact their senators, and they write letters and they let the people know in those offices what's going on with their loved one that's in the facility, and they let if it be anything that they anything that they can do, get involved with what their treatment plan, get involved with going out there and seeing them. If you can't see them all the time, make sure that you have conference calls hooked up to the meetings that are going on in their 90-day Keen conferences, so that you can be there even if they're away. Ask questions, find out from other people that have loved ones in there that are know a little bit more than you, and sit down and make together to do these things.
So get involved.
Get involved.
Get involved.
And write your newspapers and go on the radio and if you know people that work with public access, or get on there and let people know how you feel. Where your First and your 14th Amendment, any place that your First and the 14th Amendment can be spoken out and used, use it vigilantly to let people know what's going on with these places. Because believe me, right now we're breaking some ground, but as you and I know, Rob,
it's a hard course.
Yeah, it's a hard
Hey, listen,
course.
Wayne, we have to say so long for now. Always a great pleasure talking to you. Please give my very best to all the friends of the X Zone at Napa State, and we look forward to the next time you and I meet. So until then, my friend, take care of yourself, and thanks for all your great work.
God bless you. Take
care. Wayne Morin Jr., www.waynemorinjr.com, WAYNEMORINJR.com. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away.